Rev it up and welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 1156.
It's a trick just to release the pressure, because with less pressure, you perform better.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Hello, automotive enthusiasts. I'm revved up and so excited to introduce today's very special guest, calling in all the way from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, Anthony Jannarelly. Anthony, are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
Yes, sure.
Awesome. Anthony Jannarelly is the co-founder at Jannarelly Automotive, a retro-futuristic sports car manufacturer in Dubai. He's been an automotive designer and engineer since 2008. And his past includes time as the design director at W Motors, where he designed and followed the development of the W Motors Kykan and the Fenry with Ruf and Magna Steyr. He is a speaker in the automotive trend industry, known for his expertise in automotive design, furniture design, and conceptual art in video games. Jannarelly Sports Cars is aimed at automotive enthusiasts who love the joy of motoring and owning beautiful objects with the free spirit of the golden age of the 60s. In its purest form. I love this, and we're going to learn a lot more about you, Anthony, as we move through the questions. But first, I'd love for you to take a brief moment, share a little bit more about your business, your career, and a very obvious passion for design and automobiles.
Yeah, basically, I like it's a bit stereotype at the beginning. Like any kid, I was just doing all the time cars. So I wanted to become a car designer. I studied as well engineer to make sure that I would get a good knowledge of the technical side. And through my career, basically, I went in jewelry. I was very open-minded to also try other type of design work. And I had the chance to go to Coventry University in automotive design, where I met Ralph Debaz, the founder of W Motors. And I designed the cars, went to Dubai, and in Dubai, again, I did a very nice encounter with now my business partner, basically Frédéric Gillot. We actually have the same car. I have a Caterham 7, which is this old British lightweight car.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Love those cars.
And yeah, here in Dubai, it's really, really rare. So we got to know like this. And I had this project in mind, which the design one today that we produce. It was a very my personal project. Frédéric is a specialist in carbon fiber composites, and he used to make boats here in Dubai. So we just shared our knowledge and passion, and we started this business a bit out of the blue, honestly.
Well, it's very cool. And I'll remind our listeners, I've got a link on Anthony's show notes page on the Cars Yeah website where you could go and see these vehicles that they're designing and producing. Very, very unique. And the idea of a Caterham 7 running through Dubai, I think you're a little bit of a rebel, my friend. That's pretty cool because those things, for people who know the Caterham 7, open car, very, very cool. My good friend Lance Stander at Superperformance here in the United States and California sells those cars along with his Cobras and Daytonas and GT40s and Grand Sports. Very, very cool. And I want to do a shout out to Raffaello Porro, who's a past guest here on Cars Yeah. He's connected me with some really cool people over the years. Raffaello's a awesome friend, and he's the one who brought Anthony to Cars Yeah today. So thank you, Raffaello. Grazie, I should say. So as we continue on your journey, I'd like to start with a success quote or a mantra. This is some kind of saying that's been instrumental informing your life and your success. It's a nice way to get the inspirational tires turning here on Cars Yeah. So, Anthony, grab the wheel.
Yeah. I would say I was actually thinking a bit about it, and I would say it's always good to think of alternatives in life. To put everything in perspective, especially in this domain like car design and all these things. I always compare it to, in a way, to want to be a singer when you're a kid. It's you want to do plenty of things, but it's kind of difficult. And it's always important to try to find an alternative route for your happiness, because I would say it's a trick just to release the pressure. because with less pressure, you perform better. So I would say that's what I was always trying to apply. And basically, if I didn't become a car designer, I think I would have find happiness as well somewhere else. And it's very important to keep that in mind as well.
You know, I find this really interesting because a lot of people will niche down and narrow in on one specific thing, but you're a very rounded designer. I mean, you've been involved in designing all sorts of different things, and I find that really interesting. And most definitely, exploring your alternatives and keeping things open certainly keeps your creative juices flowing, if you will, but also rounds you out as a very different kind of person and a very unique person. And even the fact that your business partner there, which we're going to get on the show someday in the future, I sure hope, was in boat design. Now he's in car design using his carbon fiber expertise. So I like that concept very much, Anthony. It keeps you loose and agile and having fun in life. Well, let's talk a little bit about your story that instigated your personal passion for cars. Is there a pivotal moment when you look back on your life when you knew that you were indeed a designer, but a car guy too?
Honestly, I've been asked this question quite often, and unfortunately, I never really managed to find this pivotal point. I would say I tried to dig a lot in the past, but it was really growing in me when I was very young. So luckily, it helps to know very early what you want to do in life. So I guess I remember being 8 or 9 and started to draw cars, just watching shows, etc. Obviously, my father liked cars, so he took me to motor shows, etc. So I guess it just, all this combination of experiences made me love cars, let's say. But I never had like this breakthrough moment where I say it's only this and that's it,
It's just flowed through your veins. Now, you originally are from France, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So did you grow up in Paris, in a big city, or were you out in the country, or were you exposed to a lot of cars?
No, I was actually in a very small, living in this very small area in the south of France, and it's kind of mountainous road, so you have to have some sporty cars. It's, when you feel like there was, for instance, many rally events over there, so I guess being a kid, actually, I went to rally events, so when you hear the sound of the car and the speed, obviously, like it impregnates you.
Yes, absolutely. Been there, done that. Growing up in Southern California where there's lots of sports cars, everywhere you go, your head's turning all the time at the sound of a 4-cam motor or a V12 or a V8 or whatever it might have been coming your way. So I understand. Well, Anthony, let's take a look at some of the roads you've driven down and talk about a big challenge or a big failure. You've been involved in a lot of different design careers, worked in a lot of different areas. No doubt you may have come up against a challenge here and there, maybe even a big failure that kind of taught you a very valuable lesson. If you take us through one of those experiences and share with us how it helped you gain more momentum as you move forward from that situation.
Yeah, I was thinking, I've recently, I would say, like as a pure designer, I was kind of happy because things were going well for when I design something, usually people like it. So I'm quite happy about this. It was more on the business side. The real challenge is to become from basically a car designer to become an entrepreneur. And the challenge was, for instance, raising money to develop the business we are doing now. And this actually, I found it really, really extremely difficult because it's really a kind of way where you always have to try to reach your network, and there's no big logic into the story. It's really a human story where you have to meet people. So what I've really learned is to always, again, to be open to people, because the people who help you at some times are not the one you would think at the beginning of the story. And so you always have to be very open-minded and meet any type of people who, at some point, they will help you along the route. So that's something I wasn't always trying to do before, just focusing on mainly like hard work and not really going to be too much the big social guy. But it's something that definitely I would improve later on,
Absolutely. I think it's a really important message because in business and in life, we encounter a lot of different peoples over time. And sometimes you never know how a little connection, a little meeting, conversation, even like the talk we're having today, and the listeners who are listening to the show, where that might go, who might reach out to you in the future to offer you a hand or help in any kind of way. So I always say, just like you, be open to everyone you encounter. And the great thing about the automotive industry is most everybody is very willing to help. They want to see you succeed. I mean, it's a big family here when it comes to cars, right?
Yeah, for sure. And especially in California, I went there and yeah, on the West Coast in general. And to be honest, I don't know the East Coast, but the West Coast, yeah, the car culture, it's pretty amazing. So people are very, very passionate about all this. So it's always good to talk in this atmosphere. No?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's shift gears and talk about a big career aha moment. And one thing I mentioned in my introduction to Anthony was the cars that they're designing there, he calls retro-futuristic sports cars. Now, that's got to conjure up in the listener's mind a lot of pretty cool things. And when you go to the website, I mean, your website is so cool at the beginning because it shows these beautiful cars driving on these mountain roads. And you're like, wait a minute, what is that? It looks like a combination of, how is it? No, it's not a Cobra. It's almost like an old Jannetta. It's so different. The car is so unique and different. Is there a big aha moment with your current career that really kind of steered you down this path with this retro-futuristic concept?
Yeah, I would say when, as I explained, it was really like my personal project. I was working with W Motors, and what happened most of the time is people asked me if I used to drive a Kykan, which is a $3 million car. So I was telling no, even because people think, you design, so you must be connected. But so and every time, it made me think of what would be really like the car I would like as an everyday car. Like you don't always want a super car. It's to use every day. It's not the coolest thing all the time. So I was just trying to dig in the past and say, okay, actually, I want a cool car from the past, a glamorous shape. But at the same time, having the Caterham and the 7, I wanted this type of driving where it's light, it's precise, you have good brake system, you have good steering, and the car starts every morning. But I wanted to keep some kind of experience. You need to feel the elements, so not too much comfort as well. And so I gathered all this, and what was very, very impressive is that when with Frederic, we put the car then on the internet for the first time, we say, okay, we spend obviously more money, more time on the project. So we started to say, let's see if it's a business and if people can relate to this car actually. And as soon as we put the pictures on the web, it went really viral. We had like all the car magazines, the car blogs, everybody talked about the car and they all loved the project. So for me, it was kind of, I was kind of extremely happy in a way because this time I work without any brief. When you're a designer, you always work with a brief. If you work for a big OEM company, you need to work with the DNA, the styling DNA of the company. If the car doesn't look good or if there is an issue, you say, yeah, but I had to follow this. This was the politic of the group or whatever. On this, I had really no brief at all. It was my own brief. So if the car, nobody liked the car, it would mean basically that I had no excuse. I just did a bad job. So on this, I was really super happy that, and people keep thinking the car today is very beautiful. So I'm so happy because it's really like, it reflects my personality and what I wanted to bring to the car design.
Well, you did a marvelous job, and I will have somebody from W Motors as a guest in the future. I met some folks from W Motors when I was down in Carmel by the Sea during Car Week. They had some cars parked down there, met them, and I'll have them on the show. And I didn't realize you were involved with them until you and I connected. But your vehicles, they are very fun, very sporty, very much kind of have that Southern California vibe, drive along the coast kind of feel to them. And again, I remind our listeners to go to Cars Yeah website, click on Anthony's show notes page where there's a link to his page. And you can see the cars not only static, but driving through the beautiful roadside. I mean, it just looks like something you want to jump in and go have fun. That's for sure. Marvelous job.
It's funny you say that because many times people ask me what's inspiration, but it's more an atmosphere. And I had pictures of Steve McQueen jumping in his Jaguar XKSS,
Yes.
So I always try, when I design the car, I always try to feel like if Steve McQueen was still alive and would he jump in this car and just drive fast along the road, And so it always helps and so it's interesting you say that actually, as well.
Well, having grown up in Southern California and understanding that whole vibe in the car scene and how important it is down there, I understand completely. And when I looked at your cars, I went, yeah, that's something I want to get in and drive. I'd love to jump in the car and be on a track in it and see how it performs in a somewhat safe environment. But then just to get out on the road and have some fun. And I get that comment you made about supercars are great. They're beautiful. They're outstanding. But when you sometimes look at them, you go, gosh, where am I going to get to really drive that thing? I'm afraid to park it anywhere. If you hit a speed bump, you're going to hit the front air dam. I mean, they're a whole different kind of thing. Your car, to me, screams fun, and it does have that retro feel. Let's have a little bit of fun here and talk about your first really special car. Is there a car when you were maybe younger that really stands out for you that you could share a memory you have?
Yeah, sure. Basically, my first car in France, it's when you are 18, you're allowed to drive. My first car was old, Fiat Cinquecento, and basically my uncle just found it for me because as a joke, once I really loved this car, and he said, okay, when you will be 18, I will get you a car like this, and so I ended up with the small Cinquecento being my first car, and I really loved it because what I loved. And I guess that's why, it's a bit connected to what we were discussing about supercars. It's the extreme opposite. Everybody loves this car because there's no big statement or big status on this car. It's just pure joy. And people relate to that a lot, So every time I drove this car, I felt like a bit special because people let you go in, overtake you. They wave at you.
Yes.
Every time you travel with this car, they are kind of respectful for the fact that you're trying to have fun in a special way, let's say, because you don't have air conditioning, it goes very slowly, and but you have a lot of fun in this car. So.
Absolutely, they have the same kind of passion and smile to them, I think, like the VW Bug does, or the Beetle, or the let's say the Mini Cooper, the original Mini Coopers. Even the new Mini Coopers are kind of have the same thing. Everybody just kind of smiles when they see them. But that little Fiat is a beautiful, fun little car. Everybody loves those things. Well, how about a car you've let go, that seller's remorse, tear in the eye? Is there one that you wish you had back in your garage?
But unfortunately, it's really this car because I had an unfortunate thing where it's a bit a sad story. I let it to a friend. I didn't want to sell it, but I wanted someone to use it. I don't like when people don't use the car, and I felt bad because I was traveling and this car, for example, was always in a garage. Nobody drove it, so I just lent the car to a friend, but it ended up very badly. So I had actually to. Long story short, I had to leave the car for him. Otherwise, it was really like a very complicated administrative thing. And so I just let this car go, and I always thought it was my first car, and I would always keep my first car. So it's a bit of a sad story.
Well, the moral of the story here is be careful who you hand your keys to, because
exactly.
once it's in somebody else's hands, you never know where it's going to be. Well, we'll move on from that sad story. I would love for you to share some more with our listeners about Jannarelly Automotive, this beautiful car that you guys have designed. Maybe talk a little bit about not only the design aspect, but how it's powered, the configuration, so that people who've yet to go to your website can kind of start to conjure up a beautiful image of what you've created.
Yeah. So as you say, it's not only the design; it's really a full concept. And what I always explain to our clients and then people who come to visit us here, my idea is to sell emotions, not to sell technology. Basically, OEM, big car manufacturers, they always explain, that their car is the best in this, the best in that. And so we can't compete. And I would say today, like, the car industry is so mature in any case that that's not the point. Now the point is like, how can this car make you happier than before? And so that's why the concept, there's this nostalgia, there's a look, and there's a performance as well, but just the performance for fun. Basically, in this car, if you drive at 100 kilometers per hour, you will have fun, If you put the low aero screen, you will have the wind in your face, and you will have a lot of fun. You don't need to drive at 200 kilometers per hour. Then, if you want to go on the track, there's no big aero on it. So if you start to slide, it's mechanical grip, and you have to work out the steering wheel. So again, I was always trying to focus this concept on the emotions that you would get in driving the car.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to also let our listeners know. Now, this car weighs about 810 kilograms, which is about 1,700, 1,800 pounds, I think, if my math's going right here today. 310 horsepower, so lightweight, ample power, but the engine sits kind of just forward the rear axle, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a mid central engine. It's the same package more or less as an Lotus Elise or Exige or Ariel Atom or KTM Crossbow. It's this kind of lightweight package that works well now for modern cars.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And how would you, as the designer, describe the look of the car?
It's really it's really a tribute to one era, because when you study like car design story, you always find out that there's some generation of car, and at the same time, many cars almost look alike, And at that time, they all had this very feminine silhouette. And that's why people, I think, love this era, because they say always at that time, it's when the engineer and the designer, thought about the same on the performance term, Today, if you look at the Le Mans car, it doesn't look at all the way a designer would like to design a car. But in the 60s, if you had like this very sculpted shape, yeah, we thought it was going fast. Today, we know that it's better to have like almost a square shape and very, very low. So usually the very round shape are not very aerodynamic. But it was some kind of art working with engineering at the time. And that's why I was trying to recreate in this styling. And you get all the reference from, let's say, like a lot of cars you have in your mind. People, they see it actually very often, the Cobra. It's more in terms of proportions, because if you look at the car in reality, it has these very nice hips, which are very feminine, and that's why people love the Cobra. You could think as well of the 911 with the wide hips. No, the more powerful the 911 is, and the wider it is at the back. And again, you have this silhouette, feminine silhouette in your mind that you like, So that was honestly mainly the main inspiration on this car.
Well, again, for those listeners, there's another car on the website here at Jannarelly Automotive that is the X1. And if you go to the website, you can actually vote whether you like it or hate it. I voted that I love it because it's so beautiful, but it has all these different design elements that come together that inspire and bring back some really emotional feelings for me from cars of the 50s and 60s. And those viewers out there will know when they go and take a peek at it, but it's obviously a car of today as well. But again, like your other model, it's something I want to go jump in and go for a ride. Top down, open car, low windshield. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. So again, listeners, go to the Cars Yeah website, click on the link, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Yes. I think you can vision yourself in this thing.
The story about the X1, just to explain a bit, it's people, we have many requests on electric cars as well. So there is this fight at the moment between petrol heads and trend people who, we are always hesitating. So, but at the same time, if you can have fun in both type of energy, you should go for it. So on the X1, it's kind of a concept where we worked a lot on the aero just to get the efficiency in case, we put an electric powertrain in it. And so that's why, when we asked for people to vote, it's for mainly the question was like, will there be people in the world who would like this type of styling, retro-futuristic, with an electric package in it? And I would tell you so far, it's quite impressive the number of people, number of yes and love it that we receive. So we are working as well actually on an electric package. We don't have any idea when it will be ready, but it's clearly something that people would like as well in the future.
Well, kudos to you for going down that path. I think it's cool. There is a little bit of an argument between old school petrol heads and electric cars, but if you've ever driven an electric car, holy cow, it's like sitting in a slot car. They've got incredible torque and power, and they really make things fun. Just slide a tape or put a soundtrack into your earbuds, and you can listen to anything you want to hear while you're driving and pretend like you hear some noise. But I think it's really cool what you're doing. Well, Anthony, here's a very introspective question. If you woke up tomorrow and you were a car or a vehicle of some kind sitting in a garage, if you were manifested into a vehicle, what would you be?
It's interesting. And again, for me, I guess it's a bit special because it's a bit redundant, but I would say it's a design one because it's as I explained just before, I didn't have any brief, so it was really my own brief. So what you see in this car is really like my feelings. So if there is a car that corresponds to me the most, it's really this car because that was my intention in a way,
Yep, that's you. Awesome. I love it. Well, Anthony, up next is the last lap. Before we put the pedal to the metal, let's say thank you to today's Cars Yeah! sponsors. Do you know the best way to protect your vehicle, both the exterior and the interior, is with a car cover? I've been using Covercraft car covers since 1975. That's right, 1975. It's a fast, easy, and inexpensive way to keep your vehicle looking new. Covercraft has been manufacturing premium quality exterior and interior covers for over 50 years with a stellar reputation for durability and design. They're the world's largest manufacturer of custom patterned vehicle covers that are crafted to fit over 80,000 patterns and growing. They are the only cover I'll put on my vehicles. You can choose from a wide variety of fabrics, styles, colors, and more. From full cover designs for factory to custom-made vehicles, plus convertible top covers, trucks, truck cab coolers, motorcycles, scooters, ATVs, trailers, campers, personal watercraft, and a wide variety of custom features. Covercraft is the right choice. Learn more today at covercraft.com and tell them Mark sent you. That's covercraft.com. What's every automotive enthusiast's dream? To design and build that perfect garage. My friends at Metron Garage are a group of creative talents who've combined their passion for cars with their careers in architecture. Their service includes unique garage design and state-of-the-art fabrication. They will create the coolest custom garage for you and your vehicles. Metron Garage's system features fully engineered commercial-grade material and structural framing that's stronger than traditional construction. Their designs are pre-engineered to meet your building codes for fast, bolt-together construction. With over 25 years of experience, you'll see a 3D rendering to visualize your custom garage, and the final structure will fulfill all your storage needs. Contact Metron Garage today and begin realizing your dream garage. Go to metrongarage.com. That's metrongarage.com. Garage is built for discerning enthusiasts. Where it's not just a garage, it's where your dream garage comes true. All right, Anthony, we are back. We're entering the last lap. I'm going to fire off a series of questions and ask you to give our listeners some very quick blips of the throttle answers. So here we go. What's the best automotive advice you've ever received?
I never received it personally, but I think it's Christian Koenigsegg. I heard him one day saying about the car industry, what type of advice, and say in a way everything is difficult in the car industry, and which is kind of true. because you really have to face, and especially in our business, like when you're a startup, you have to face so many parameters, so many challenges that it's really like you end up thinking, yeah, actually every single stage is difficult. Manufacturing, homologating a car, dealing with finance as well, all these things. So I guess for all the small manufacturers like this, it's what Christian Koenigsegg said. It's really the truth, you know.
I admire what you're doing, because anyone that tackles this kind of endeavor at any level, it's insurmountable odds, and at many times it feels that way. But the fact that you've gotten to where you've gotten, I mean, even when you look at something as big as a Tesla and Elon Musk and all the things that they have to get over to bring a car to market, in any manufacturer these days, I mean, it's just regulations, governments, bureaucracies, they just make things so complicated, so expensive, so difficult.
And the only thing that hold everything together is really the passion. It's a bit of a stereotype, but the chance is that cars are something that people really love. So there is this counterbalance where, you know, if you bring enough passionate people, you manage to go through the challenges, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Now, how about a personal habit? Is there one that has contributed to your success over the years?
It's always let's say, to challenge yourself. There's a little story where I was thinking about it, and for instance, something that really like shaped the way I design and the type of challenge I try to pass. It's I remember my brother, basically when I was a kid, I was drawing like a spaceship as well, and I just loved my drawings, and I showed them to my brother, and who is older than me. And he just told me he didn't really like them, and I was so disappointed. I asked him why do you don't like? Because I found them very cool. And he told me, "Would you like to have your spaceships in Star Wars?" And I told him, "Of course, no, because I prefer the one in Star Wars, you know."
Yes.
So, and he told me, "You see," and so for me, I always try to really like put a very very high target in a way that okay, if I design something, I mean, it has to be at least at the level I would like it to see around, like in movies or that's why I was thinking of Steve McQueen, you know, always thinking like, this type of people who buy Jaguar XK would they buy this car as well, and would they do that? So for me, it's this type of target, and it's an emotional target you put that it's a bit like you place the cursor like this, and you keep working until you feel comfortable in this emotional state, basically.
Yes, pushing the bar higher all the time. How about a resource? There are lots of great resources for us these days. Is there one in particular you'd like to share?
Honestly, one of the good blogs I read quite often is Motor Authority, and I don't really have much time now it's crazy. The more you work in the industry, the less time you have to dig into all these things. But actually, I would say this website, and obviously, I really love like Jay Leno's Garage, for instance, because when I design the cars, I watch a lot these shows, because Jay Leno basically, he really like spend time detailing the car, looking at all the small details, opening the hood, opening the doors, etc. So all these things, actually, it's actually the way people experience the car most of the time. Not really like sometimes like pure journalists where they try to go flat out with the car straight away, or just talk about some kind of performance where you really never really like practice this, you know, in real life, you know.
Exactly. Two great resources, Motor Authority, and of course, Jay Leno's Garage, a great one. Now, if I could arrange for you to have a drink with anyone in the automotive field, living or deceased, who would that be?
I would say it's still Jay Leno, yeah, because I met him very, very shortly once at Pebble Beach, and I found him very, very cool because obviously he was super busy and super friendly as well. And so, yeah, I wish I would have more time to talk more about all the stories about cars, etc.
You know, and I have a feeling, Anthony, if you brought one of your cars over here, and I might be able to connect you with the right people, you could get on his show with one of your cars. I think so, because he loves to introduce things. I've never had him a guest here on Cars Yeah. My regular listeners know I mention him all the time. I have tried and tried. Maybe one day he'll pick up the phone and give me a call. I sure hope so, because I just really admire the guy for so many levels. And I talked to him for a little bit on the lawn at Pebble Beach in August. Came up. I've talked to him several times, but I had a little more time with him because it was early in the morning and there weren't many people around to bother him, except for me. And so I did slip him my card. Maybe he'll give me a call one day. I sure hope so. But he puts on a great show. Consummate car guy.
We really try to put a car in California, and yeah, for sure. As soon as we are around, it would be amazing to meet all these people with the car.
I think he would love to have you and your car on the show. He's had some really interesting guests. How about a book? Is there a book you've read that you think our listeners would enjoy?
Actually, yeah. I mean, Elon Musk biography. My wife just gave me this gift. I think maybe a year ago, something like that. And I like Elon Musk. I couldn't say I was a huge fan, but yeah, reading the book, it's really, really about entrepreneurship and all the challenges. So he tackles really like the biggest challenge in life almost. So you have to have some respect for him, and it's also honestly, when you have your own challenges and you can relate to this type of challenges, you say, okay, I'm not on my own. If this guy is trying to do as well the same, to try to succeed with the same kind of problem, you should make it as well. So it's very inspiring as a read. Yeah.
Absolutely, love that book. So, Anthony, here's the last question I have for you today, and that it's going to be a bit of a doozy, I think. I'm going to buy you any cool collector car in the world. Let's remove your car from the equation because I know you're going to want to have one of yours in your garage, but let's just park it in the back. But I'm going to buy you another cool collector car today. Money's no object. You can't sell it to buy a bunch of other toys with, so don't pick the GTO just because it's worth a lot of money. You're going to have to keep it and drive it. And that's the other key is I want you to drive it. No garage queens here, but I can tell you're the kind of guy that likes to drive cars. So what can I buy you today?
It's very simple, actually it's a Lancia Stratos. I always say because many people ask me what's my favorite car, etc. And after all these years, I'm always amazed by this car because it still looks futuristic. It's all about function, it wasn't really about design because it had to be a performing rally car. And the look today is still there's no other car on the planet which have this type of styling. And it wasn't a concept car. It was really like something that to win a rally title,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Marcello Gandini design, Bertone. Yeah. Just a beautiful, beautiful car. I had John Campion, who owns a really wonderful collection of cars, including Lancia Stratos cars. He's actually vintage racing his vintage rally cars. Pretty cool guy. So for those of you who love rally racing and the Lancia Stratos, which I do, go back and listen to my talk with John Campion. Nice choice. Nice choice, Anthony.
Yeah, there's one amazing thing about just to go a bit more detail in car styling. If you look at blueprints of the Lancia Stratos, look at the top view, you will see it's just a big rectangle. So what's amazing is with a rectangle shape from the top, you manage to give so many strong features in this car. So for car designer, it's something I don't know any other car that is it's like a rectangle in top view, basically.
I'm going to go back and take a look at some photos. That's a very interesting observation. I'm not surprised coming from a guy with an eye like yours. So very cool. Well, I have enjoyed getting to know you better. I want to thank you for sharing your journey. Is there a little parting piece of wisdom or guidance you might offer our listeners before you rip off into the sunset in that Lancia Stratos?
I would say just follow your passion, as much as you can. That's what I did all the time. I had to sometimes to do a tough choice. You never know if it's good to follow your passion, but at least you look behind you and you're proud of what you did, So
absolutely,
it's
absolutely, yes. And what's the best way for our listeners to learn more about your business?
It's simple. I mean, my name is quite complicated, Jannarelly. But I guess with the links, etc., you can go on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram, we have the most recent picture on Instagram, and on the website as well. There is everything is linked to the website. So but for people who wants to enjoy the car or what we do, like almost on the daily basis, the best is Instagram, basically.
I'll make sure I put links to those on Anthony's show notes page on the Cars Yeah website. It's Jannarelly, JANNARELLY.com. You'll find that there. I encourage you to go check out what we've talked about today. This is a really cool car. Very cool design. You're going to be very, very excited. Thanks again for being my guest today, Anthony, and for spending some time with us today and sharing your expertise. Until you and I talk again, I'll see you down the road.
For sure.
Thank you. Au revoir.
Bye-bye. Au revoir.
You take care of your cars, but who takes care of your investments? Tune-ups aren't just for engines. Updating your financial plan is important too. Your GPS may take you from A to B, but it won't help you on the road to financial freedom. For that, you need a good co-pilot and a very trusted advisor. Chris Kimball, CFP, is just the man for the job. He'll guide you down that road without driving you crazy. For over 25 years, Chris has helped people just like you and me with their financial planning and investments. With a master's degree in financial services, he is eminently qualified, and he's a car guy too. Learn more at chrisvkimball.com or call 866-ON-A-PLAN. Securities through Money Concepts Capital Corp. Member FINRA SIPC. CK Financial Services is not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corp.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.